breaking news.
And that breaking news, Bills safety Damar Hamlin remains hospitalized in critical condition after collapsing in the first quarter against the Bengals last night. And thanks for joining us this afternoon. I'm Cherie Palello.
And I'm Ashley Kirkland. Fans from both teams showing their support after Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest last night. And we are leading the way with team coverage. We begin with WLWT News 5's John London, who is live at UC Medical Center with the very latest on Hamlin's condition. John?
Yeah, and Ashley, it has now been 14 hours since the last and the only update, the only word from UC Medical Center that Hamlin was sedated and in critical condition. There has been no change since then, according to the hospital. So today, in a sense, has been similar to last night in this way. There continues to be a very worrisome and agonizing wait for information about whether his condition shows signs of improving. According to the Bills, his heartbeat was restored on the field after he suffered cardiac arrest and collapsed during the game. Periodically today, a few Buffalo fans have paused at the front of the hospital, showing the kind of concern that is certainly shared nationwide. Jonah Stackpole was one, a West Virginia dad who had brought his son Grant to Paycor Stadium as a Christmas gift for his first NFL game.
You know, as much as we wanted to watch a good football game last night, which I'm sure it would have been, this is bigger than that. So that's the main message.
I've just never seen anything like it.
His father described it as a surreal kind of situation, a stunned stadium last night, and a hopefulness in the community today that there would be some sort of encouraging word to report by now, but so far there is none. Live at UC Medical Center, John London, WLWT News 5.
John, I think all of us are still just very stunned and shocked, and the family released a statement today expressing their gratitude for the support that they have received. What else did they mention that should be noted tonight?
First responders and healthcare professionals here at UC Medical Center and what they call the exceptional care that they say he is receiving. They mentioned that they value very much being a part of the Buffalo Bills organization and thank Coach Zach Taylor and the Bengals, and they said they would release updates as soon as they have them.
John London live for us at UC Medical Center tonight. Thanks so much, John. And as doctors at UC Medical Center work to save Damar Hamlin, medical experts are now weighing in.
Yeah, and of course they say acting quickly in these situations really can make all of the difference, as we've seen in the past. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick joining us live now from UC Medical Center with today's details and what doctors are saying. Hi there, Brian.
Yeah, hey, Cherie. Well, what we know is that this was a cardiac arrest, and what that means is that this was an issue with the electrical system in the heart. So it means it was not a problem with the blood flow. Now, we're hearing from doctors, we're hearing from the American Heart Association today, and a lot of the attention has been given to one specific issue, which is a situation that occurs when the heart stops after there's been a sudden impact to the chest.
That was the suspicion at that time, that somehow he had suffered some sort of cardiac arrest on the field, and that it was due to this sudden blow to the chest, commotio cordis, as it's called, which is a really rare situation. I mean, this is something that you hear about maybe a couple of dozen times a year.
Yeah, now there's been a lot of talk about that because that's what we saw, and that's what doctors looked at whenever what they have to go by when they look at these this video. But there are a lot of other conditions this could be. They're running tests right now here at UC to try and determine exactly what caused this, and there are a number of other possibilities. Reporting live, Brian Hamrick, WLWT News 5.
Brian, I think everyone out there knows someone who's had a similar medical emergency, and too often no one's around, and it can end tragically, even deadly. So talk to us about what doctors are saying about how important it was that he was able to get that treatment instantly on the field last night.
Yeah, Cherie, well, they're saying that is really the most important thing here, was the quick response to get this medical attention as it unfolded on the field. Now they gave the CPR, which is to get the blood flowing through the system. The American Heart Association talked to us today about how important that is. It allows oxygen to get to the brain. Also, they would have probably used some sort of a device to get more oxygen through the system at the same time. And then they used that electrical device to shock the heart to get it started again. So as that happened very quickly, as you know, every second in these situations counts. Cherie?
Brian Hamrick reporting live for us tonight. Brian, thanks so much. And we thank those experts for enlightening us on this, as they're the ones who have the real information. Brian Hamrick live for us tonight. We should also mention, and as we've been saying since last night, the game, of course, was just secondary. But I know a lot of fans are wondering about this, and the NFL confirming in a statement today that the Bills-Bengals game has not been rescheduled. They're saying that it will not be taking place, definitely not this week. Also, we know no changes have been announced for Week 18's schedule. So we'll keep you posted if that game is going to end up being a tie, if it is going to be played again. Of course, we'll pass all of that along to you. And we'll also keep you posted on the latest, of course, on Damar's condition, both on air and online at WLWT.com. Remember, you can always find the latest information on our free WLWT mobile app. We are literally, as soon as we get news releases and updates, we are all sharing that information with you.